Hey guys, it's Nolan from Trade and Train. This is another one of our back to basics videos, and this one's about support and resistance. This is part 1 of 3, and this is about horizontal support and resistance. So it follows on from our first video on trends, which we sent out on the 6th of October. So have a look out for that first before you go on to this video. And so we talked about impulses and corrections in that trends video, and finding the key turning points in a trend where the correction ends and the next impulse begins will enhance the success of your trades. Okay, but how do you go about finding them? Well, one way is to use what we call support and resistance. Now, the most common types of support and resistance are horizontal, trendline, and dynamic. So in this video, we're going to touch on horizontal support and resistance, and then in later videos, we'll talk about trendline and then dynamic. So let's have a look at what we mean by horizontal support and resistance. Well, you can think of support as an imaginary floor. Okay, price is moving from the upside to the downside, and price is moving downwards, finds this kind of imaginary floor and bounces and moves back to the upside. Whereas resistance is when price is moving upwards, finds an imaginary ceiling, turns back and moves to the downside. So it's almost like support is like throwing a tennis ball or any kind of ball, I suppose, downwards, finds a floor and bounces. Resistance is when you throw a ball in the air and then eventually gravity kicks in and it turns back around again. So just pictorially, that's what support and resistance looks like, or horizontal support and resistance. Okay, and support resistance occurs on all time frames. So, you know, we can trade the 1 minute time frame. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but you can 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, hourly, 4 hourly. You know, there are so many different time frames you could trade, but support resistance occurs on all of them. Okay, and this is another pictorial representation of what I'm talking about. We have price moving up here, it finding resistance, that imaginary ceiling, then finding support, that floor bouncing, resistance again, support, support. So all this is acting as support. Eventually it breaks to the upside, finds resistance again, and this time what was resistance becomes support, and price moves up again, finds resistance, and then moves back down again, finds support. And often you'll find that broken resistance can become support. So here you can see that resistance is broken, come back, and it will often become support. And that is for the opposite as well. Broken support can become new resistance. So I'll show you what I mean. In an uptrend, you know, we would see higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so we've got a high here, a low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, etc., etc. So when price pushes up and makes that high, and then we start to see price start to move to the downside, price has found resistance here. It's found that imaginary ceiling. Although it's not marked here, this is actually support, and then price starts to push to the upside again. We're in this uptrend, so we form higher highs, higher lows. We form a new high. Okay, we break through this resistance level, we form a new high, and then price finds resistance up here. Okay, price then starts to pull back, and it retests this previous area of resistance, and now price becomes support. So we have previous broken resistance now becomes support, and we see buyers come in. Buyers break through this previous resistance level, okay, finds a new resistance level and pulls back again, finds that support. Okay, and then we see buyers come in again, we break through this resistance, we find a new resistance up here, price pulls back and finds support at that previous resistance level. So you can see what's happening. Oops, gone forward a slide there. It's almost like steps, isn't it? Steps up. So this is an uptrend, higher highs, higher lows. Each time we're breaking through that resistance level, coming back down, retesting it, it becomes support, move back up, okay, pull back, test that previous resistance level, becomes support, and so on as we have that uptrend continuing until, of course, you know, no uptrend or downtrend actually continues indefinitely. So, you know, the uptrend will last until we start to see lower lows and lower highs. But right at this moment in time, we're seeing higher highs and higher lows, and so the uptrend continues. So the opposite is a downtrend, and you know, it's just the same, just the opposite way around. We've got price moving to the downside, finding support. It bounces, finds resistance, pushes down because that downwards pressure is dominant in the market. It's a downtrend. We make a new low, it finds support, and then price pulls back and finds resistance at an area which was once support. So old support there, broken, becomes new resistance. Sellers come in, dominating the market. We make a new low, it finds support, then price pulls back and retests this previous support level, and then becomes resistance. Again, sellers are dominant in the market. We break below this support level, make a new, find a new support level, we pull back, we test this previous area of support, which now becomes resistance. So each time we're making lower lows, lower highs, and we've got this horizontal support and resistance going on as price makes those lower lows and lower highs, almost like, again, you know, steps. Before it was steps moving to the upside in an uptrend, and steps to the downside in a downtrend. So let's take a look at a couple of examples. Now remember, you know, when we, like any kind of educational trading company shows you or explains different things, they will show you the kind of almost picturesque, picture perfect examples, but in reality, you know, trading isn't like that. So I'll show you a couple of examples where it's not so clean, but you will see that they refer to what I've shown you here. And here's an uptrend. Okay, this is the Australian dollar against the US dollar on the 15-minute time frame. Okay, we can see price here pushing against this resistance level, that ceiling. Eventually price breaks out, finds another resistance level here, comes back, retests this level, which now becomes support, and we see price push to the upside. Oops. Okay, until price finds another resistance level. Then sellers come in, we find price comes back into this little zone here, which was resistance, and now becomes support. We see those buyers come in again, we break through this resistance, make a new high up here, comes back. It's a little bit messy, but like I say, you know, I'm not showing you the picture perfect examples. Comes back into this zone, we can see it finds support, and then from here it then makes further moves to the upside. And in fact, this goes on for quite a big move actually. So just trading this horizontal support and resistance would have been a nice way to earn some money on the Australian dollar against the US dollar. I think I've stuck to the same chart, yeah, 15-minute. Again, look, this is a downtrend though. Price finds support here, it bounces, eventually breaks through, retests the level, and this zone here gets tested a couple of times actually, now becomes resistance. And we can see here, look, price is pushing to the downside, finds another support level until big impulsive move to the downside, breaks through, comes back and retests it here, and that becomes resistance. So previous support now becomes new resistance, and then we see that selling continue. So this is a downtrend, isn't it? We've got lower highs and lower lows, and that's all it is. Okay, really simple stuff. It's just a case of, you know, training your brain to spot what's happening. Again, you know, not a picture perfect example, but trading isn't like that. So that is horizontal support and resistance, very briefly. Next video we will talk about trendline support and resistance. If you've got any questions about horizontal support and resistance, please put them into the comments and we will get back to you. But for the meantime, you know, safe trading, stay disciplined, and we hope you found this informative. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you again in the next video. All right, bye for now.